Raider Nation, what's up? We are joined today with the lovely Sibley Scoles. Sib, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to talk to you today about this. I'm glad it worked out.
I know. We've been trying to figure it out, get us going back and forth, but we got it going. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I'd like to welcome you here. Raider Nation is excited, obviously. But getting into it, Bay Area born and raised, you've basically followed the Raiders. You were in the Bay, you follow the Raiders of Vegas, you're the in-game host. How has that influenced your job for the team?
Okay, so there was I think my very first game last season, not this past, but 2 seasons ago when I first started. By the way, this is Charles Woodson Whiskey Raider. That's his full name.
That's dope.
So he's saying hello. He'll make his appearance.
That's dope.
So yeah, I have to say this. As a fan, I'm one of those fans who, I'm die hard. So my family grew up on them. We bleed silver and black. So we're very loud, boisterous when we're out there watching the games. I remember my first game as in-game host. I had to pull it back a lot because when you're not on the mic, you're watching the game, right? To see what's going on. And I literally lost it. I was just going crazy. And I had to make sure like, hey, no, you're professional. You're not a fan at the moment. You could do that when you're on the mic and let the fans do those. But yeah, it was a very quick learning experience. I had never done in-game hosting before. And to be able to do that with my favorite team, my loves, the Raiders, it was pretty cool. But yes, I pulled it in the very first game. I realized, nope, you got to go to work. This is different.
Yeah, it's hard to take off that fan hat, especially when it's a team you're so passionate about. I remember when I was doing stuff on the Raiders radio, it was like, I kept, you always say we when we talk about the Raiders, right? Like, as a fan, you're like, no, we, and yeah. They're like, no, hey, you're media now. You got to talk about, you got to say the Raiders. It's like, oh, dang, yeah. Okay. What is the biggest difference that you've seen from the Raiders since moving from Oakland to Las Vegas?
Mark and I, who we co-host together for in-game hosting, we kind of talked about that early on. Definitely, you're seeing a lot more people who are coming out that don't even know the sport of football necessarily. They don't know to, let the team work on offense. Let's be quiet. There's a lot of those things that I started to notice. So I think the biggest difference is, we're missing that. We still have the black hole. I feel like it's, but it's not like it was in Oakland. You don't know it. And the fans that are coming in that don't know anything about the Raiders at all don't see it. So that's why I think it's great that I'm hosting Raiders Talk of the Nation. So I dedicate that to the fans every single episode to make sure they're seen, make sure the black hole is seen, and Raider Nation, every chapter is seen as well. But yeah, the biggest difference is you walk in there, it don't smell like Oakland. It don't smell like the home that we know.
Yeah.
And you don't see always those familiar faces that you would always see there. But I will say the diehards are there every single game. And then there's just the new fans who really love that there's a sport now in their city, so that they're trying to understand the game. A lot of people come up to me and ask me a lot of questions while I'm there too that have never even seen the sport before. So I think for me personally, just being out there every game, it's the fact that we're getting new fans, whether they love the Raiders or know anything about the foundation and the roots of the team, they're enjoying the sport. And that's kind of, I'm trying to lean into that and understand, okay, let's educate these people on what Raider Nation really is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, Vegas is a town that is rapidly growing, right? Even as even as big as it already is, it's a town that's rapidly growing, especially with sports. I mean, you have
Yeah.
the Golden Knights who have been, pretty successful. You've got the Raiders who have a rich, talented history that, are now trying to get that back. You have the Aces who just won a championship, who are also owned by Mark Davis. What have you seen like from Las Vegas fans in their quest for greatness out of sports?
I think they've wanted this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at that first season with the Knights, how well they did, right? Like it was amazing. And I remember but again, that was before the Raiders were there. I remember I had to work out there. I was in entertainment prior to that, covering Billboard Awards. And so I was always out, and I had never seen sports jerseys in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to see all of a sudden these hockey jerseys. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening? And as the years went on, and now that the Raiders are here, I feel like fans are really loving it. They're enjoying the sport. They love the stadium. Allegiant is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It feels like you're going to the Super Bowl every single time you're there. And I think they're feeling that sense of community and family, which is what, the nation is all about. It's
Absolutely.
like bringing everybody together. So I think it's a good feeling. I know there's all these videos of like certain type of fans, whatever. The real hardcore, the heart and soul of Raider Nation is a really beautiful place to be a part of.
Yeah, I saw one where I actually had to comment on the video and made a video of my own where it's like, that's not what we do. Raider fans, you come up, you show up to a tailgate. If you're a Chiefs fan, we'll give you some food. We might heckle you a little bit, but we're gonna break bread with you.
Right.
What are some special moments that you've had doing the hosting in games with players or with fans that you remember?
I mean, right now I'm going to say sitting here talking to you, and I'm not just saying that because I'm with you right now. I'm saying that because it's like even Raider Cody or just everyone that I get to now call like friends and like it's like a family again to bring in more. I think the special moments have really been sitting with like Charles Woodson and Tim Brown and Marcus Allen. It's the fact that my dad would tell me about all these now Hall of Fame players when he was a kid. And now I get to tell my dad, like, yo, guess who I saw today? And it's just cool. I mean, I have all these old school catalogs and books from game days back in the day when my dad went. So it's just pretty surreal to just have all those moments. I think the biggest one for me was when I started this year hosting Raiders Talk of the Nation. My first interview was, sorry, he's biting.
No, you're good.
He's getting upset. My first interview was with Rich Gannon, and it was a full sit down interview, and we were only supposed to get like 15 minutes. He ended up giving me about 30, 40 minutes of his time, which was awesome. And it was just a one-on-one. I couldn't have painted a better picture of what that was for me. And so I think that might be one of the standouts. But again, it's been getting to know everyone of the fans deeply. And each time I step into that stadium, the fact that people may not know my name and they'll say Raider Girl or whatever, or they'll say Sydney because they don't know my real name. And so it's just cool to have those moments. It does. And it, like you said a second ago, it really does. It's family. Yeah. And so I couldn't ask for anything more than what I'm getting right now. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's fun. It's exciting to see. When you see these greats that we grew up watching, it's like, wow, like we're face to face with them, right. And having the experience and all of that. So I totally agree with you there. We talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but like balancing that fandom and the host, how do you do it like in the game, like in the moment? Because I've tried and it's really hard.
Yeah, you know what? I won't lie to you. So I can't really contain it. There's a video I posted. It actually went viral for, I don't know if people were loving it, making fun of it, or a lot of people thought it was rehearsed. It was not. So shout out to Gino. He's one of our camera guys during game day. He had his phone out and he was watching me just watch the plays happening. And it was like we were about to score. I think it was third down. I can't remember which game it was, but it was this season. And I'm just on the edge of the railing watching and like calling the play as it's happening, and he got it, and I'm just losing my mind. And so I'll do that. Like when we have a touchdown, you know, if there's a turnover, if anything that's in our favor, okay, I'm going with the fans, I'm high-fiving, I'm running down with them, because I want them to know when I go to other stadiums, I see, you know, in-game hosts and different things like that. And I want to be more interactive. This is not saying anything to anyone, but I see how it's set up and the differences. And I love that Mark is in there with the crowd when he goes to Winfield. And I love that I have the capability of just running around anywhere in that stadium to get a high five, to get a hug, to take a picture with the fans, and to celebrate our wins and to celebrate touchdowns. And those are the best parts for me.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what advice would you give to somebody if they wanted to become an in-game host?
Oh, advice. Okay. So prior to in-game hosting, I had never done it. I spent, this year will be a decade of covering red carpets, doing all entertainment stuff. I did cover sports, but not as heavily as I am now. I would say the same thing I said going into entertainment, because I didn't go to college for this. Hell, I didn't go to college. I did 2 years of junior college, and that was it. I knew I was ready to move on. Be yourself. Own who you are. Don't just go in there and not know anything. Educate yourself, and you know, always bring ideas to the table. And that's kind of what I stand on for any position I take. As long as you show that you're coming in there just being yourself, but also you have, you know, ideas. People love ideas. If you could package anything and put that together for someone and show maybe what they wouldn't see in you, that helps a lot.
Oh yeah, that's great advice. Real quick, you said you went to junior college. Where'd you go?
Chabot for a year in Hayward.
We have to end this interview right now. We got to end this right now.
So I went to Chabot in Hayward. You know what that is. And then I went to Ohlone. So I flip-flopped because I grew up in Fremont, but my grandmother, she lived off of Tennyson growing up. So we were there, you know, that was my second home. And so afterwards, when my grandfather passed away right out of high school, I went to go live with my grandmother in Hayward. And so I said, well, let me make my parents happy and show that I'm going to go to college for a little bit. And I went to Chabot 1 year, ended up going to then Ohlone for like another year. And then I moved to LA a couple years later, did a year at Valley College to learn how to do script writing. And then that was my education. And then life after that.
Well, at least you only went to Chabot for a year. I'm a Laney Eagle, so you know, you know, we would put the stomp down on Chabot every year. So you know, I gotta just throw that out there.
We love Laney. Shout out to Laney.
Yeah, you know, Laney was in Last Chance U.
Miss those days?
I do. You know, I miss the playing days. I tell people all the time, like it's like playing the game. It was one of those things where it's just you get this ultimate rush, right?
Yeah.
And I spent years after I got injured. I spent years trying to find that, and I didn't find it until I started doing content creation. And when I started doing content creation, I started getting that same rush, and that's really kind of what drives me. Is like I'm like, oh, I feel the same way I did when I played. Like, and it's not taking a toll on my body anymore. But that's really what I love doing now. Is just it's just getting there, interacting with people like you, getting out there with the fans. I mean, you know how it is. Like you get people to run up and you know you take pictures and stuff like that. It's fun. It's a good time.
No, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now you're covering the NBA now too, right?
So I just, like I said, this is now my second year, I'll say, fully dedicated to the sports world. I grew up playing basketball. I did play at Ohlone. Chabot, I tried. Like I was like, I think I'm out now. But I played, all the way my entire youth. I played, so I love the sport of basketball as well. Shout out to the Warriors. That's my team.
Yeah, go Dubs.
Yes. So yeah, I literally just finally got a great team behind me. We're starting to push me out into different lanes, different arenas of sports. And so I just worked the winter showcase for the NBA G League. So I covered it for the whole week as a sideline reporter and in-game host, which was, again, something I'd never done before. But He's so jealous when I'm on the phone or anything. Um, yeah, so I'd never done that before. And that again, I asked them what they're looking for, what they want, and then I brought myself. I didn't change and put the blazer on that, I've seen before. And again, this is not knocking anyone. I've just
Mhm.
seen certain images on screen before of people. And I said, well, I'm just going to do me. And this is what I know. And so I did that, did my homework every moment that I was there, the week prior to finding out that I was covering it, just to make sure I was ready and to watch those people, like Doris and everyone who calls games. And even though I wasn't calling play-by-play, it was still important to understand the flow of while you're out there, not just as a fan, but as someone who's out there to do a job.
Mhm.
So it's been cool to be able to get into other arenas. I just did, Sean. I work with Sean Merriman.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, he's so cool. I've never worked with him before, and we got to do Lights Out. So that was awesome too. So I'm trying to get in everywhere I can that I understand and can bring something to the table.
Well, I mean, you've got many hats, and you got your jack and many trades, and you're lighting it up everywhere you go. I mean, I talked to Sean about you the other day, and he was like, "Man, she's killing it." He's like, "She's awesome. She's great." And so, he had a ton of great things to say about you. Everybody that I know that knows you just has great things to say. Going back to the music, doing the Billboard stuff, what did you enjoy about that?
The first job I ever had was Revolt TV. Shout out to everyone there, and it's still going strong to this day. But I was an MC prior to any of this stuff, so I had a full band toured. I always loved the aspect of live, where you can't stop and record and do things over. It's like you just got to be on your toes. So being able to cover red carpets, I kind of felt at home, although I didn't know the celebrity world when I first started, not enough. And so I just was like, it's a mic, it's you, and there's people moving. It's live. Just make it like that. Have fun. And that's how I always bring the energy, regardless of the setting, just because I feel like I come from a space of, you got to do it once. You're up there with the song and the crowd's there. You get one opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's what I do miss red carpets for that very reason, because it's just like, let's go. And it's a challenge because you'll only get one or two questions with a celebrity and they'll pull them. So you got to have your brain ready to go, everything tight and no mess ups.
Got to make that impact quickly. Who was your favorite celebrity or musician that you interacted with?
The first person I'll say that I was really excited about was Pink, because I've just listened to her music since the beginning. Her story, I love her story. She was awesome. I think The Rock was cool. It felt like home. I know, he's an East Bay boy as well. So he's like, he was cool to talk to. I think one of the ones that still sticks with me, where I had an opportunity to do it again, which I was new to working at E News, and Denzel Washington had his movie come out, Equalizer, the first one. And they have a set amount of questions that you're supposed to ask, each person, and you can't really put your flavor into it. Well, I made the mistake of listening to that and not putting my flavor on it. And he took my cards from me and he threw them. He said, "Where are you from, Sibley?" I said, "The Bay." He said, "I spent a lot of time in Oakland." And I was like, "Stop." And he started telling me about music he'd listened to when he was going around the park. I was like, "Wait, who are you?" So that still stays in my mind, because I had an opportunity to interview him 2 years later. And I just knew, okay, he's basically giving me that door, opening the door to be myself. And so I was able to do it, and I got an emotional interview from him. And it's very hard for him to, do that in interviews. And so it was cool. Yeah, I think, that one really stood out, because it kind of checked me at the same time. Like, you don't have to listen to exactly what they're telling you to do. You can be yourself. And that's kind of where I opened up.
That's really cool. And I think that's a great message for everybody to be yourself and not to fit into that box. Because when you fit into that box, you're gonna get, you're gonna get some of the things that you want, but when you're yourself, that's where your true individuality shows up.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What's next for Sibley? Like, what are you gonna be doing next?
What's next? So we got Pro Bowl coming up.
Yeah.
I'll be doing that with LaDainian Tomlinson, co-hosting. I was outside the building last season doing Pro Bowl for the Twitter stream. Now I'm inside the building, so I'm excited about that. Raiders, I'm going to do Super Bowl week with them. So I'll be covering Radio Row for a couple days. I get to get back on a red carpet at the NFL Honors. Nice. So excited for that as well. Couple speaking engagements coming up with Sugar Ray Leonard, Emmitt Smith, which I'm honored to do. Those are running me through March. And then just kind of trying to keep it moving, see what else I'm loving, and I started my production company last year, so I'm trying to finish producing some shows that I created. So I'm staying busy and taking care of this dog who will not stay still.
Yeah. Little puppies are like little babies, they need a lot of attention. Look, I'm excited right now because my 4-year-old is still taking his nap, and he hasn't climbed all over me, because normally you guys see him, he's always all over me, and that's my little guy, that's my best friend. But you got a lot going on.
How old is he?
He's 4. Oh. Yeah, he's 4. I'm trying to get him started into T-ball this year, football next year or the year after. And nice. So we're going for that. But you got a lot going on. It's exciting. It's exciting to see. I'm really excited to see what you do with the Super Bowl, and especially with the honors, because I that's always something that's really big to me. Birthday weekend is actually Super Bowl weekend. So with the expansion of the new schedule.
Birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, with the expansion of the new schedule, my birthday falls on Super Bowl weekend every year. So hopefully next year, when the Super Bowl's in Vegas, we can have the Raiders out there and we can celebrate a Raiders Super Bowl victory for my birthday. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll take out the hopefully it's happening. Can we call it that? Can we just say it's happening?
Can we just call it?
Okay.
Everybody looks good in silver and black.
Wait, that's true.
Everybody looks good in silver and black.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's one thing we say around free agency time, right? They look good in silver and black. They look like a Raider. Like, everybody looks good in silver and black. I've never seen nobody not look good in silver and black.
You're right. So I mean, it's the truth. What we need is we have such a strong team. I've talked to everyone, just like I'm sure you've talked to everyone. And the guys, I love where we're at. I love that there is promise, there is hope, and there is so much on the horizon. I think we all just have to remember and be patient. I know it's hard to say that because we've been patient for a long time.
Yeah, but we've been patient for a long time.
For a very, very long time. Some of us a lot longer than others, but you have to build. You got to see what works, what doesn't work, and I just know that the guys are hungry. Max, everybody, they all want it. They want it bad, and you see it every game, and how excited they are for the future as well. The one goal is just win. Literally, that's the one goal. We got to get back to that slogan, and make sure we can do that with the team. And it's my honor to be able to sit and talk to everybody about this team, because it makes me happy. And there's so much passion. Anytime I turn the TV on, if I can't get to a game, if I'm not there, it's a away game. I just want us to get and show the world what we can really do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guys are hungry. I know that for a fact, and I know that the fans are hungry, maybe hungrier. And we want to see wins. We want to see the Raiders get back on top. We want the commitment to excellence. Mark wants it. And I think that we don't want to see a sea of red in the stadium. And the only way that we're going to get that is if the Raiders start winning.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I'm excited about the direction. I've obviously any fan is going to be critical of things that happen, but I'm excited about the direction. I mean, we've got a very good core. And I'm excited to see where this goes. And hopefully next season, 2024, the Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We're gonna be riding down Las Vegas Boulevard in the float, in the parade, going crazy.
Yeah, no, that's happening. It is happening, especially after I saw the float in the parade for the Aces. I was there to cover that for them. I said, "Oh, we're doing this. We're doing it." I have so many group chats in here. It's like Raider Nation 1, Raider Nation 2 group chat, the family. That's just like as someone seeing it from outside. But again, there's so much involved. We have no idea what's going to happen, but it's so much bigger than just, what's happening out there on the field for everybody. I mean, you live it, with your dad, everything. It's so much bigger. It's heart, it's pride. It makes me happy to be able to talk about the Raiders. It really does.
No doubt. It's great to cover the team that you grew up loving. Great to be able to connect with the people. Sibley, I really appreciate you coming on today. Love to have you back on, during the season or something. I know you get crazy busy, but you and Charles Woodson Whiskey. Wasn't it Charles Woodson Whiskey Raider? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, give little man a shout out.
Whiskey Raider. Once he gets all his shots, he's coming out to Vegas and he's coming to some games. He'll be out there.
He's destined for greatness already.
Yeah.
Following in the footsteps of the GOAT. Well, Seb, I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you during the season. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
On all social platforms, it's SIB as in boy _vicious, VICIOUS.
And there you go.
Thank you.